told you that I want to connect your country to our neighboring country. And you see all the roads that we're building is to connect Liberia to our neighboring country. Liberia is 176 years old. In 171 years, what you see in the 5 years is impossible because we have done so much unprecedented development in this country in 5 years that 171 years they could not achieve it. If all of the presidents that came could not achieve in the 171 years, in the 5 years that will do everything, and some people that spent 12 years say they want to come back to finish it. No, why you want to finish my work? Because you never left a work for me to finish it. Why you want to finish my own? So young people, let us work together. First time voter will depend on you, and we know that you go to the polls and you're gonna vote us. We are your choice. We are your party. This is the party. This is the people party. The people struggle. We put our left and our children left on the line for the people struggle. And you join me. All of us, we have the same value.
We're not even limiting ourselves to that 30% because we deserve more. But how can we fight when we are not there? Because power comes with authority. If I want to speak of inclusion, Priscilla is not in the house. I'm not in the house. How do we say our plans will be executed by those people? So it's about collectivism, because you have 73 legislators, and if you have 5% that pushing this, and you have the remaining people saying they aren't supporting it, what do you do?
Madam Sirleaf is an icon. Madam Sirleaf broke the glass ceiling for all women on the continent and even globally, because where people thought it couldn't happen in Africa, it happened, and it happened here in Liberia. I have benefited from Madam Sirleaf's support in South Sudan, where I first ever International Women's Transformation Leadership Conference in South Sudan, where Madam Sirleaf was the headliner for that conference. She couldn't go physically, but because Madam Sirleaf was the headliner for that conference, other women participated. I'm sure her name was part of the reason why some women participated, and
the masses must be careful in October. I'm seeing all kinds of alligators, cobra, leopards, hiding on the party again. Some of them can take. No, we have picture, they put it on, they put a hair on it. Some they put picture, they put it, some they put Kumi's picture, they put a hair. Yeah, you can do it at your own campaign thing. But the only reason why I will vote for you cannot be because you Kumi's man, or you We Are man, or you Joseph Boyka man. No, you must show the intellectual competence, that character, and ability to debate the issues. Take, for example, District number 8. District number 8, Monsowara County, is the heart of Liberia. This is where you have the executive Capitol building and the Supreme Court. You have the University of Liberia, NDU, and all the other institutions right here. Either they have the university here or they have offices here. This is the intellectual hub of the Republic of Liberia. Bobo cannot represent District number 8.
I'm one of the proponents in propagating the proper agenda, the PAPD. And today you say, what are open to offer? You supposed to ask me in English?
Are you being supported?
My brother, I'm saying, don't ask me that question. I think the party is honoring the obligation
to do for you.
Yeah.
But they aren't doing.
You asked me and you want me to be monotonous. I think
are they doing for you?
I said, I think the party is honoring the obligation.
That expression means they aren't, they ought to.
I said, the party is honoring the obligation.
They are doing it for you directly.
Speak English, man. I beg you. Let's move on.
You don't want to come straight.
Honorable Sam Andrew, I don't know what you mean. I said the party is honor the obligation because I'm one of the progenitor.
Coming out serious man. If Common was a serious man, the best decision they ever take in his life. Common will be president, maybe won't die or training die. Coming out serious man.
You're saying that it is not possible at all. If that will ever happen, it will happen in utopia.
No.
And utopia is a world that does not exist.
It cannot happen. No, I don't want to already say never ever. But it is not in our generation.
Not even in the generation and generation and generation to come. It's not possible.
But my man, the man cannot concentrate and contemplate. What can he do? That man cannot produce nothing.
I'm one of the proponents in propagating the proper agenda, the PAPD. Then today you say, what are open to offer? You supposed to ask me in English?
Are you being supported
Brother, I'm saying, don't ask me that question. I think the party is under the obligation.
to do for you?
Yeah,
But they aren't doing.
you asking me and you want me to be monotonous. I think
Are
what
they doing for you?
I said, I think the party is under the obligation.
That expression means they aren't. They ought to.
I said, the party is under the obligation.
They are doing it for you
Now, you speak
directly.
good English, man. I beg you. Let's move on.
You don't want to come straight.
Honorable Sam Andrew. I don't know what you mean. I said the party is under the obligation because I'm one of the progenitor.
That is what you get when the hobo pejoratively hobnobs with the hobo bamboozle, razutazo, rasmatas politically. He was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is a way of saying the president was fantastic. But his political enemies said he was suffering from what I describe as new mono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Yet it's a word that is supposed to be called silicosis, meaning a long disease. But in search for the longest word in the dictionary, they pep it up to become a 45-letter word, which is new mono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. What an odium! What an ignominious memento! That even at the barbituration of the so much acclimatized, the same subsidy evacuation and barbituration was condemned by a scrupulous, fastidious, puritanica, boisterous, energetic, and a routine to thin, but today for political somnambulism and malocclusion, reticent, taciturn, uncommunicative, and unforthcoming, meaning he has kowtowed in their home.
Don't tell me nothing too much of them. 1, 2, 3, loving you. 4, 5, 6, I'm missing you. 7, 8, 9, I want you back. 1, 2, 3, I love you. 4, 5, 6, I'm missing you. 7, 8, 9, I want you back. Long time no see. How's your love? I'm lonely. I miss you, and it's too hard to bear.
It's another day again as they unfold.
Love in the middle of the night.
And let me say thank you so very much that you join us for the show. Bits and pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1 and Voice of Liberia 89.7. Also on our online radio, www.voiceofliberiaradio.com. Facebook, www.voiceofliberiaonline.com.
Oh,
My name is Sam Andrews.
so 1, 2, 3, I'm loving you. 4, 5, 6, I'm missing you. 7, 8, 9.
This is why we put the bits and pieces together clinically and place it on your life, and you make the decision. Thank you so very much. We've got 22 days to go.
I want you back. It shows on my face. The evidence is right here. My smile has been erased. Can't you tell? I have no appetite. My food has no taste. I'm losing weight. Thought you could be replaced. I daydream.
And true, you're right. Got no appetite for food. But there's one thing that you should have appetite for, which is very essential. It gets you healthy. It gets you in a very good build of health. And that is information. One tip, if you miss out on information or if you're not in the information world, you have lost one third of your existence. Too bad. So you don't want to get in that bad situation. Not the food that you eat get you healthy. You can eat the best of all food. But once you are out of the information world, guess what? You are traumatized. And once the trauma sets in, you begin to reduce. But when you got the bits and pieces as they unfold, then you start to get healthy. So we provide just that for you on Voice of Liberia, 89.7 Kakatamagibi County. Voice of Liberia, 104.1 Marove, Yale. We are transmitting from the capital by Bitz. So we talk the issues. What's on our plate this afternoon? Nowhere best to start but what unfolded on Sunday with the launch officially of Unity Party. The Coalition for Democratic Change had made their statement of intent on September 7th. On yesterday, the Unity Party opposition made their statement of intent too. Now, people are giving it the kind of interpretations they think they ought to give it. Seditions, stalwarts of the party, are giving it their own interpretation. But here it's bits and pieces observation. One, Unity Party launch was a sea, it tied multitudes. Did you hear it? Yesterday, Unity Party demonstrated a sea, a tie, a multitude. What they showed yesterday was not only a statement of purpose, but they provoked CDC. That crowd we saw yesterday, honestly, listen, it swallowed CDC September 7th crowd 2 times. And you know why? CDC overlooked them. Couple of, I think in 2017 or the 2020 senatorial election, they launched on Sunday. And the turnout was not as magnitudinal as this one or prior to September 17th. So many of the people, the ruling establishment, and some people in the opposition thought that they wouldn't have pulled the crowd, that they have lost essence and relevance in these campaigns, and it's a first round victory for CDC. But the situation turned the other way around. And personally, I should say to you, I doubted Unity Party. And they proved my doubt just wrong. I felt that they could not, but they did. And I should be honest to say that truly they pulled the numbers. They pulled the numbers. So what seditions are doing now is editing post commentary. Editing post commentary is self-consoling that you will talk, you will leave the me event because the argument was that Unity Party could not fill the stadium as CDC did. So the concentration was the filling of the stadium, not around the field. Unity Party did fill the stadium to capacity. CDC did not fill the stadium to capacity. Here is it because I was on the day on the stadium or at the stadium when CDC was launching or when CDC did launch. The president arrived 10 minutes into 4 o'clock. I was looking at my time when he came in his blue suit. We all were under the rain and we ran the commentary. So I am not feeding on somebody else's information. I was there. I saw it and I took up the time to be honest and balanced in my reportage to move there on Sunday to see. CDC, you have space around the field. We could see space. The crowd at the pitch itself, but you could see spaces around. Unity Party, there wasn't. There wasn't. So what they are, what seditions I see seditions doing is what I consider post commentary self consoling. That means you say, oh, but the other side, what's about Lane Street? Lane Street wasn't filled with people. What's about UN Drive? It wasn't filled. No, it was not about UN Drive. It was not filling the street. They said the stadium. Streets for cars, sidewalks, which constitute the streets for people to move in. So they walk. But they did fill the stadium. Honestly, they did. And most seditions, no. More to that, there wasn't infiltration. That was the crowd That was the crowd. There wasn't infiltration at all. You know what I mean by this? At the close of it, yeah, some seditions were saying some of our people were in the crowd. We sent some of our people. In fact, the government car, you saw this government car, this government person. But what they fail to realize, they, there are a number of Unity Party partisans who are in this government. Not everybody in the government are seditions. There are people who are seditions and who are loyal to the party. And there are people also who are citizens entitled to the right to work based on their qualification are in the government. They are UPs. And moreover, you will not see them voicing you will not see them being more rhetorical all over the place, like we see of some seditions. So when the time came, they came out from all of their corners. That crowd I saw yesterday, I cannot tell you that others were not there, but I think they are UPs because that number to fill that stadium and beyond, it means these were people who were just waiting. Moreover, the rain wasn't a problem. Now, if you look at CDC, something is happening somewhere. There is the natural phenomenal aspect of this whole thing. We are in rain season. All of us know that. We are in rain season. So every day it rains. Very seldom it doesn't rain. Maybe a day or two it wouldn't, but often it rains. September is a rain month. So almost all the political parties that launch together with other rallies that were not formal intents of the launch, it rained on that day. CDC launched on September 7th. The rain came down. It will fluctuate. It will come for a while, then it subsides, and then everybody back to their respective places. And then after 10, 15 minutes, the rain down again. So it was just like that until it stopped completely. Yesterday, we saw that the rain was tense, the rain was heavy, but it didn't move Unity Party people. So as the rain swelled, so UP's number or UP's was swelling in numbers, and they stated they made a purpose of intent that it's going to be a battle on October 10th. They provoked CDC, and CDC should not overlook. I will advise you, seditions, you don't overlook it. Those of you who are on social media, putting all kinds of stuff there. This place was not filled. Look at this other place. All kinds of things you're saying. It's just lazy in itself. A good seasoned politician will look at the position of his rival and say, we have to do something. If our rival can reach this number or can pull the numbers in the station and overfill the stadium, we have to do something. I know you will say that it is not about countering crowd because it's the crowd politics right now. So you will think that, oh, no, 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 no. We can go to counter crowd. We're not competing with crowd, but it is vital. It is vital. That is why everybody will boast of having the numbers. If crowd was not significant, nobody will be campaigning. If crowd is not a decider in an election, nobody will ever opt for crowd. Crowd is a decider. The numbers you have is very significant. That is why everybody crisscrossing by their strategy to get the numbers on their side. And that is why when we get into second round, if nobody can have first round, if nobody can win the first ballot, and there's the second ballot, every political party in the second round will be fighting for higher number. And the crowd politics will continue. But that at that time, it will be between only two parties, as per our constitutional requirement. They made a purpose of intent. Sedition should not overlook that. Don't You who are just saying, oh, the people in there, the people in there. The people did. They did. That crowd that I saw, it swallowed CDC crowd 2 times. And it sends a message. It should be a provocation to seditions and other political parties. And then another thing is, contextually, whether Unity Party can translate that number into the vote needed on October 10th. The number gathered is obvious. It's the reality. All of us saw it. But whether that number can be maintained, whether Unity Party can maintain that number and translate that number into the vote needed in the first ballot, if there will not be a second on October 10th, is the concern. It's a concern. You can have the multitude like Unity Party had on yesterday, but the maintenance of that multitude, and this is where the strategy have to continue. This is where and how they have to increase their strategy. And in terms of strategy, I can assure you, I can tell you quite honestly, Unity Party strategy worked than CDC strategy. Here is why and how CDC strategy, Unity Party strategy did work well, as we saw on yesterday. One, for CDC has done a lot. Since the ascendancy of President Weah to power, they've done a lot. They got a number of things to show. That's the first one. They got a number of things to show. They have done unprecedented. They have engendered unprecedented development. But here is the side effect to that unprecedented development. The tangibles are there. The reality is there. Everybody can see it. You can talk about the hospital, you talk about roads, you talk about PAC, you talk about free education, you talk about all of those things. President Weah has made a case, a convincing case for re-election on October 10th. But here is why and how, if they aren't careful, they're going to miss out. There is a deep realization or complacency within the campaign team of CDC. So, because President Weah built hospital, rehabilitated roads, built PAC, free tuition, so it relaxed now. And that's not how you run campaign. Oh, the president did this. The president did the other one. But it's different from how you re-strategize to take that message to every nook and corner. So it's not about you telling people more that President Weah has done this, but the people want to hear now another new thing that coming, because in Liberia, our atmosphere is that simple. Once the people start hearing of a new thing, they are obsessed. They are obsessed. They're ready to give in. They're ready to embrace it, even though they didn't see it, but they believe you to be true. That what you are saying is true. So when in campaign, when you're sounding like a broken record, what happening? And the next man is saying something new on the other side, the people tend to sway. CDC, not really strategizing. They relax. The president done this. The president doing this. The president. Now the president out. I think that UN meeting lasts up to the 29th. I don't show that he going to be there up to the 29th. But in his absence, not much is being said and not much will be said. So CDC has to look back. They have to sit down and re-strategize. Otherwise than that, if they just run with the same thing, it's going to be bad for them. This is life. Anything can happen. Like Josiah Johnson said, football is biscuit. It's like biscuit. So it is. So it is with politics. Politics is a biscuit. When you think that an incumbent can lose, the reality presents the loss of an incumbent. When you think an opposition can win, an opposition, when the time comes, the opposition loses. So the tide can turn at any time. That is why people never rest content on what they have done, but rather expand on that, and allow him and allow the people to know more. So CDC have to re-strategize. They have to go back. They have to think. Unity Party did extremely well with how they went about the campaigning. So, yeah, it's one of the ways that the crowd, CDC did campaign for Unity Party. And we've said this thing over and over, but it seems when you obsess, you cloud yourself, you evade yourself of the kind of reason that you ought to put to the floor. We told you people this thing, and it is the reality, whether you like it or not. CDC did campaign for Unity Party as Unity Party campaigned for CDC in the past. And even in these elections, these campaign periods, Unity Party is campaigning for CDC too. So we can clearly say that the two parties are campaigning for each other. But Unity Party or CDC is more manifest, it's more evident. And here is it. They will take a lot of time talking about Joe Barker illness. Joe Barker running from the country, going to ECOWAS, hiding under ECOWAS, disguising himself, going for treatment. And the same thing brought President Weah to power. And seditionists are not keen on this. When the people after President Salif, when President Weah wanted the presidency and he announced his intention and NEC would satisfy him and he was moving with his candidature, what did Unity Party and the rest of the people say? That President Weah had a serious deficiency. President Weah in no book. He can't speak. He can't deliver. So they started to outline his deficiencies. And he himself said it when he took the oath of office that he shouldn't be judged by his speech, but rather what he would deliver. And as Unity Party partisans a couple of years ago said that, and others, what happened? CDC numbers was swelling by the day, was swelling. So he no boy, he not no boy, we'll vote for him. He can real, he can real, we'll vote for him. He can speak good English or he can speak good English, we'll vote for him. So Unity Party was campaigning for CDC. The more you talk about a person's deficiency in our politics, the more the people get exuberant, they get so excited, they get so buoyant, they resolve. So they will take up time more talking about Joe Barker illness, Joe Barker sick. You go on social media, they're talking about all of that. Stars within CDC, concentrating on that. The time you take to talk about your opponent illness, that he's leaving the country to go for treatment, you could say something around that will keep the people in your grip. So what happened? As long as they talk that, the numbers started to swell. They say, yeah, we want sick men. We put sick men there. So they saw it. So they said, oh, look, let's prove a point to these people. So they say the man sick. The man, yeah, he will not be this, he will not be that. Say it look like they get different intention for the man. Let's prove to them that we love the man. And that what you saw yesterday. I can never be in a campaign whether somebody's sick. I talk about it. It's not my business. My business is to sell my manifesto. It is the food that I have to offer. It is the product that I'm selling. The more I talk about my enemy, the more I capitalize on a natural phenomena which could happen to me, I am elevating my opponent argument that he's the best person, he's better than me. But if I ignore it and concentrate on what I have to say or to deliver, then I am campaigning. That's how it goes. So the next thing to move to another bit is this. They made the statement of intent, statement of purpose, they provoked CDC. CDC got to go back into their strategy room and come up with something new. They have to stop giving President Weah the impression that everything is well and it's a first round victory. The campaign, if you look at CDC campaign, it's just all about what President Weah has done. Nothing new beyond that. In campaign, you also talk about future events. You also talk about future events. What makes you think that the people when you hear about future things, all those things, they know that President Weah has done it. They're seeing it. They can't deny it. They are aware. They are participating in it. They are part and parcel of it. But also in campaign, you want to tell them that you are seeking re-election. And the seeking re-election is to add on. Is to add on. So you want to tell them the add-ons. You want to explain all of that. But everything, President Weah, the president bill, 14 military hospital, the president bill, that. That's all. Moreover, you cannot have a campaign team and then the campaign team just focuses on a few people. No, it doesn't work that way. And then the last part of this contextualization of Unity Party crowd yesterday. Joe Walker went to the event and he spoke for just 3 minutes or even less than 3 minutes. People, here is it. The official launch of a campaign rally is to state exactly in summary what you have done, what you intend to do, and how the people ought to remain faithful and loyal to the cause until the last day of the poll. Official launch is not to tell people, thank you for coming, we appreciate you, you go back, you keep the faith. No. CDC did that, President. We have spoke for less than 5 minutes. Joe Wagago, he spoke for less than 3 minutes. Then why did Unity Party gather those thousands of people only to stay under the rain for those hours that Joe Wagago will only come and say, yeah, hello, they keep the country this, we keep Kush out of Liberia? Official campaign rally is where the leader moves there and gave an official summary of what he has done, the impact he has made, everywhere that he has touched. It's just like State of the Nation address that the president delivers to the joint legislature as per the Constitution. You summarize everything. That is why you have a campaign team. The campaign team would do a write out in summary and give it to the standard bearer, and the standard bearer would deliver that address. What happened? Everybody now competing on first-time voters. So the first-time voters can hear. They shouldn't know what you intend to do, how you intend to do it. And the rest of the others, did the people just gather to see the standard bearer? I think it was wrong. It was completely wrong. People would say, well, he been going around talking, explaining his manifesto. So there isn't a need to go over. It can be repetition. No. He had to say something Joe Walker needed to say. The people ill-advised Joe Walker, just as the ill-advised President Weah spoke for less than 5 minutes. When people thought that the evening was just starting, President Weah was leaving the podium, he was leaving the field. He had already spoken. And everybody, whoa, the clapping. The president was gone. So what did he tell the people in detail? What did Joe Walker tell the people in detail? What did they go back home with? What did United Party partisans go back home with? Nothing. Just to say we went on the field and then we pulled the number. You gathered to hear the standard bearer. That is the reason why the people gathered in their thousands under the rain, defying everything natural, risking their lives to hear the standard bearer speak. So if Joe Walker would just go there and just say a few words and say, well, Kish Kush out of Liberia and all of things, then it wasted the people's time. Moreover, at the close of it, let's assume given the circumstance, the Standard Bearer spoke less. So then after that, now what do? We are in the age of technology. Everybody, somewhere, some have access. So an official statement is placed. An official statement detailing everything or almost everything in summary is out. When President Weah got through with ATS, what happened? It was on his website, the executive mansion website. So people go there and see. That's how it done. But nothing like that with Unity Party. The people gather. You spoke less than 3 minutes. No, I cannot go to a rally of such magnitude and then I just speak for less than 3 minutes and say, oh, XYZ, this, that, we take Kush out of Liberia. They brought Kush in the country. What did you say? How are you going to address this? Kush is not in your platform, but Kush is the topic called fear in the country right now. Everybody talking about Kush. Everybody afraid of drugs. So you want to tell the people this is a menace. How are you going to deal with this menace? You want to say something in the space of 10, 15 minutes. You want to give the people something to take back home. Those who will be returning home or did return home when people ask them, what did the standard bearer say? Now you have nothing to say. You have nothing to tell them. That's the mistake we make in Liberia. You have to make your position clear. Say something. Say something. Waka should have said something. Speaking for just 3 minutes? No. No, man. Oh, okay. That will be doing it for that. So, honestly, Unity Party prove their rival wrong. CDC have to work hard. With the remaining 22 days we've got to go, they prove a point. If CDC isn't careful, they will lose the election. If Unity Party feels relaxed that they think they have pulled the numbers and they just relax, CDC will beat them pens down. It's going to be a tough battle. There's going to be a second round, and that second round is where everything will be decided. That will be doing it for that. So let's move to another issue. This whole uh, Jessica issue, but before Jessica issue, let's talk the arrest of another, should I say consignment? Yeah, or parcel. LRA, the Liberia Revenue Authority, will announce the arrest of another parcel. Another parcel. They issue a statement. Let me get to LRA as LRA statement. They did issue a statement to that effect, confirming that drug was brought into a drug was brought into the country. This is LRA statement. They released it on yesterday. Yeah, is it? It said the Liberia Revenue Authority, through its Vigilant Customs Department, has arrested a Sierra Leone national attempting to smuggle into Liberia a significant quantity of narcotic drug known as Kush from Sierra Leone. Masare Ise, age 35, was taken into custody on September 14 at Bow Waterside, Liberia Sierra Leone border in Grand Cape Mount County. Suspect Ise is found to be in possession of a 2 kilograms of Kush with an estimated street value of 36,000 United States dollars when custom arrested her. LRA statement went further to say the illicit drugs were cleverly concealed within a black plastic bag, carefully hidden within a brand new oversized jetpack speaker, the one that you hold and move around. The statement concluded by saying, custom officials promptly handed over the alleged smuggler along with the drugs to the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency in the county. She has been formally charged for prosecution. The Liberia Revenue Authority Customs underscores its unwavering commitment to its more responsibilities, which include the lawful collection of revenue, facilitation of cross border trade, and safeguarding the well being of the citizens of Liberia. This is LRA statement that a Sierra Leonean woman, Masare Ise, was caught with that, and she's under investigation. And then they arrest this Liberian who, or not Liberian, sorry, the lady is Liberian and the guy is an American, that he attempted murdering Jessica Lord. Jessica herself will explain after she gained consciousness, thanks to the medical doctors who treated her, and she gave a public interview. She gave a public interview and she said truly the guy did try to kill her. He had a plan and his plan was being executed, but it was thwarted along the way. Just trying to paraphrase, trying to get the voice. And it didn't materialize as he had planned it, but he actually wanted, according to her, to kill him. So the police saying that they are investigating Lucas Richards, and he's been charged with criminal attempt to commit murder and aggravated assault. The police said that they are investigating him on those charges. On Thursday, September 14 at 3 p.m., the police said it was alleged that suspect Richards drove the victim, Jessica Law, around Dixville Caldwell, where he attacked and injured her, leaving her with lacerations on her neck, the back of her head, and fingers. Victim Law is undergoing treatment at the JFK Medical Center, while suspect Richards is being detained at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police undergoing an investigation. So that's what it is. All right. At 3 o'clock, very shortly at 3 o'clock, Sylvester A. Canning is in and he supports he supports the ruling establishment, and they are not convinced that their rival made a statement of purpose. They are not convinced that they have been provoked. They don't see it in any way as anything to provide a counter. He's in at 3 o'clock. So let's turn to you now that you can have your say. In the next few minutes, then we turn to Sylvester Conan. 0770 907 907 0880 907 907 0770 907 907 0880 907 907, and you are on the air. Voice of Liberia 14.1, Voice of Liberia 89.7, Morovia and Kakata. Bits and pieces with Sam Andrews. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
How are you? How are you doing, Sam?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my brother, you have spoken well. You have said it all. PDP campaign for United Party. Anywhere they go, they will always say the mistake. And people don't really listen to it. all people want to do it, and people want to hear is that what you will do for the next future. Not for you get somebody, you pay somebody wife fee. It's not it. People want to hear news story. My brother, thank you for your topic on discussion.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, one of the brother behind you. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, my name is Maurice Pastor, calling from Joe Community.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, brother behind you, I know it's for the other night, the issue afternoon. You want to say I love in the country, not an issue. But what you're just saying about the CDC can be measured. For me, one area I will agree with you. A lot of officials in the government, they're gonna put that in place. But now they put a relaxing what the president has done for the country for the presidency. Because they're relaxing on and they don't want to do anything on their own. They're relaxing, the president do the president do the one, the president do the one. For that one, I would agree with you. 100%. But they're not doing anything. We're busy reacting to the president doing. And someone that was said, they wouldn't about that situation where he said, you're the body for a cry, just for the one that CDC cry. Maybe in my people about I'll disagree with you small.
All right,
Yeah,
sir.
bro.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You want to move away from your radio, sir? 0770 907 and you are on Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1, Morovia, Voice of Liberia 89.7, Kakata Magibi County, our online radio www.voiceofliberiaradio.com, Facebook www.voiceofliberiaonline.com. Good afternoon. You want to move away from your radio, I beg you, please. Just move away or cut it off so we understand each other.
Hello?
Yes, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let's hear you.
Hello?
Your name and where you're phoning in from.
I'm calling from this area.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, concerning Unity Party and the CDC, both quote about Unity Party was more than the CDC grant. But you get paid on that and say that you're going to election, so we're going to wait for the final day to be decided. Because now anybody put it in, you'll find yourself to be blamed because the number is just empty. Anybody can just kind of money cry and some people are hungry in this country. A lot of people are hungry, so they can just everywhere you see people, everywhere people can you see people there. So you can base your fact on that and say you win the election already. But let's go to the white man issue. The white man now, I don't know. He is very very guilty for the act. For the fact that people saw him doing the act, the ball he attempted to even stop the ball rescue again. So that white man now that it should be somewhere in prison now.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. Have a nice afternoon.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah, you are on the air. Speak.
Okay, I'm Munya Size calling from PHP. Hello?
You are on the air, Chief. We are listening to you.
Okay. I hear people saying that the crowd can't offer yesterday, for Unity Party. If anybody can allow himself to walk from Vanguma or EAWA under that rain to kind 8 years, and they say that people they borrow, it is stupid. But that crowd, for Unity Party. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Have a nice day. 0770 907 907 0880 907 and then you are on Bits and Pieces, Voice of Liberia 104.1 Morovia, Voice of Liberia 89.7 Kakata Magibi County, with me Sam Andrews on this 18th day of September, 22 days to October 10th. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah. Speak, sir. Your name?
Yes, Michael B. calling you from Bromley.
Let's hear you, Michael. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for the topic for the discussion this afternoon. You spoke on the day of CDC launch, and then there was a speech that was given by President George Weah. He did not speak for a very long time, and he repeated itself yesterday. You know what I'm saying is this: this is a football game. Someone is already leading you 3-0, and then you coming from behind and then to redeem, and then you want to take over. It takes a critical something, a challenge to do that. One thing is that Joseph Parker yesterday, people left their very homes, get to the street under the rain, and then they expect most of him to say to the Liberian people. But they didn't say anything that will convince him to those who left their very home yesterday, going to the street to listen to what he wants to deliver to the country. So under this atmosphere now, this election is a very critical election that we are looking at.
Okay, sir. Yes, he didn't say much. His rival says something much, but not long.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, let's hear you. Your name and where you phoning in from.
My name is Toledo Lopez. I'm going to be present all around the country. Yeah, I would like to say to the United Party yesterday, they went at 8 yesterday. What is Senate Bearer of United Party to them? What was the campaign message preached to them yesterday? Men who are ruled this country for 2019 is the men who they are honoring for going to listen to what you're going to say. The only thing I can say is that it's going to take coach from the country. Who is not the only thing that Liberian people are sorry for. We are sorry for many things.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. At 3 o'clock, we face Sylvester A. Cannon, Coalition for Democratic Change, Secretary General. They are uncomfortable. They were provoked yesterday. So 3 o'clock, you want to listen to that conversation. It's coming up shortly. Secretary General, Montserrat County. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, let's hear you. You are low.
I'm Jima Morgan.
Jima Morgan.
Yes, sir.
Let's hear you, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, thank you very much for accepting. You know, yesterday, as I'm telling you, my dear brother, I even asked the people at the weather, some of you people from the bridge, they even leave from the brother to get on the bridge yesterday. They were not something easy. They were not something easy. Some people didn't even reach on Broad Street. It's not that because they made it, they didn't give it 1 hour speak, so it will convince or it will never convince them.
No, but no, that is a factor. That is a factor. When your official launch means you making an official statement, a summary of your manifesto, your platform.
Yeah, some of us we accepted the statement he made that taking our children as point. Our children as point. You make a statement long years ago. Where are they doing? Just taking our money, line, doing all kind of things.
Okay, Chief. Thank you so much for calling. Have a nice afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andrew. Thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you. And you?
Okay. I'm on Radio Live, right?
Yeah, you are live on Voice of Liberia 104.1 Bits and Pieces.
Thank you very much. My name is September Soko Saka, calling you from the Duporo Belt. I only want to make it very clear to you, Andrew, for the program yesterday that could show to the democratic world that the unity partisans have resolved, or the citizens at large have resolved to transform the present leaderships. Based on the experience, the transparency and accountability of Joseph Yuma Boaka and his energetic, vibrant VSB, Senator Jeremiah Panko.
Can you Can
because very well they know that they are with their ability and their eligibility to transform this country to the value standpoint of the democratical nations around the world.
Can you
One,
guys, can you Unity Party people, or can Unity Party maintain that crowd or that number and translate it into the vote that you need on October 10th?
I want to make it very clear to you that that crowd is not a transactional crowd. That is it's not a crowd that we need to stand. People need to stand online to distribute money before they got in there. They came with their heart. They came with their faith. They came with their belief. They came with their ability. They came with their trust. That yes, this regime, this political party, those people, the VSB and the incoming president, that they are with the ability to do it the best for Liberians. Every sector you think about,
All right, sir.
this
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
VSB and
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Bill Zawi, and I call you from Rwanda, Kigali.
Let's hear you. Let's hear you from all the way Rwanda, Kigali.
Thank you all so much for the show. It is actually interesting to note that the citizens have not, at this time, understood that Liberians are resolved to elect Ambassador Joseph Human Boyka. The crowd yesterday, for me, it was encouraging, but it has not moved me. For the fact that what actually moved me yesterday was what I saw in all counties. I was not paying attention to Rider because almost in all of the counties, you saw that people actually came out in their numbers and they are sending the signal that they are resolved and they do not need this kind of government. A government that is causing massive suffering for the people. So they need to understand this, and we have a new leadership coming on board very soon, October 10th.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, and have a nice day there in Kigali. So you see what I said is 39 minutes ago. 39 minutes ago. 39 minutes ago. Mo Ali just posted it. 39 minutes. So Joe Barker, they developed a long speech. But given that the speech, they knew that it was long, and Joe Berger, given the noise or the shouting, the chanting, coupled with the weather, that he would not have been in the position to deliver such a long address. So they just put it out. This is it. So when people saying he spoke for less than 3 minutes, this statement can be less than 3 minutes. It is true that he spoke for less than 3 minutes because they kept the statement. They kept the statement. It's an official launch summarizes the party's manifesto. That is why thousands of people gathered to hear what the standard bearer has to say. So, yeah, is it? They just released it after the protocol, and then what he went to, he said, "Today I am humbled joining you to celebrate the threshold of one of the greatest revolutions ever known in Liberia. All over the country, from Cape Mount and through rural Liberia, a movement is on the rise. It is the movement of ordinary people that have trembled the foundation of the ruling party, and some of us here today, that their movement tremble CDC." That's what he's saying. He went further. In our movement cut across the country and unites our people with such enthusiastic momentum, and that makes me affirm my faith in God and His time. Thank you for gathering here today as we embark on an incredible journey together, a journey of love, hope, progress, and unity. Just few lines. My guest is already in. We are all excited and optimistic about what is now a national call to rally citizens of this great country for a rescue mission to reverse the hardship so many Liberians and their families have been subjected to for the past 6 years. Senator Kuhn and I And this great team promised our unwavering commitment to serve you. We will not fail. That's what he said. Today marks the launch of our election campaign, but it is not just a campaign for the presidency and legislature. It is a campaign for you, the voters, and for the future we envision together. I want to assure you that your voices matter, and under our leadership, your concerns will be heard, your dreams will be respected, and your aspirations will be nurtured. First and foremost, let me make it abundantly clear and assure you that any plans or attempt to thwart the will of the Liberian people by stealing these elections will be forcefully resisted by us, the people of Liberia, and the international community, which has invested so much in the peace and stability of this country. And as I said before, we will also leave no stone unturned to work with international prosecutors to expose and arrest those who will foster electoral violence and derail our hard won peace. Just an excerpt from Joe Boakai prepared text that he didn't deliver yesterday was just sent out now by the spokesman of the party, Mo Ali, 39 minutes ago. It's exactly 3 o'clock, and we've got our guest in already. He is Sylvester A. Cannon, Secretary General, Montserrat County Coalition for Democratic Change, to state exactly their position on what transpired yesterday. They seem uncomfortable, but not deterred, and other issues. Thank you so very much for coming in, Mr. Conan. I appreciate it. Welcome to Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Andrews, and thank you to the Voice of Liberia family for giving us this invitation to come and expatiate on issue of national concern as it relates to the forward march of our dear country. But before going into detail and the nitty gritty of our presence here today, we just like to make few disclaimer that I'm the Secretary General of the Congress for Democratic Change, and for the coalition, the Deputy for Administration, and I'm just here to give my own analysis on view about our national political issues, and not that it will be the position of our party or our national position.
But you're the SG now.
Yeah, I'm the SG of Montserrat, the Montserrat chapter. Yeah. So I can give my view, but I don't want it to be held nationally, because I'm in charge of the secretary of Montserrat.
It is hard to put a dichotomy there.
But this is why I'm giving you the disclaimer now. It was not something that the party officially sent me to do.
Okay,
I understand. Yeah.
So you guys saw it yesterday, or you saw it yesterday as a partisan, as an individual, you in your capacity as a national figure, divorcing yourself of all of those party portfolios. And I age of them.
Go ahead. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
you saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
It provoked you guys, didn't it?
Well, Mr. Andrews, first and foremost, I will commend His Excellency Dr. George Manawia for bringing flavor into our democracy, because as you look at the current space, the national space, and the national landscape of our democracy, you get to understand that democracy is taking another direction, another trend. And I just hope it will perpetuate, in our national existence as we go forward. Because this is the first time when we were in opposition. There are a lot of things that we were denied when we were in opposition, most especially as it relates to the 2011 elections. I can retrospect that there are a lot of things that we were denied. We were not given the democratic space. And you understand, most especially when it came to election having period, there were national theaters that we were denied to use. There were places we could not go. We were beaten. We were brutalized by state security at the time. But we are happy this time around that the opposition got freedom to move around. They insult the president on a daily basis, and then nobody is tortured or harmed. Because if you look at the launch yesterday, you will get to know that the provocation was too much from the opposition, insulting the president, saying things that you have no proof to. I think these were things that are very much inimical for our democracy. But if you have a vibrant and mature leader in leadership, and you understand, you will get to understand that these things will play. And I like the trend our democracy is taking, because our democracy is being flourished, our democracy is being moved to another level. That there are some things that are even happening in country right now that I have not seen them playing on international stage in the United States of America, Europe, and other part of the world. That is for people to go protest against a particular regime, insulting the sitting president, and then in the end of the day, state security provide food and water for them. These are things that are happening, and these are normal things. This is why we say that President Weah is the best person for this country. He has the necessary dexterity to move this country to another level. As you can see, things that have been happening in country and will continue to happen, because President Weah, if it was another leader since 2017 to 18, then maybe our country have been in trouble and gobble another civil crisis, and they got belligerent group here and Yana. But being an individual who has the country at hand and who is very much nationalistic and patriotic, I mean, he created a space for people, and these are things that we appreciate. And these are elements that we expect to see in our democratic tenant, to see that our democracy is flourishing and our democracy is growing. Now,
Give you a comparative analysis of your crowd, September 7 and September 16.
okay, if we can just do a little bit retrospective view, of the past when we were in opposition, you know why it takes, the kind of force we had, even against the national leadership at the time, the regime at the time. You used to see that the regime used to deny a lot of things simply because when we were in opposition, we have the popular mandate of the people, and today we are in uh, sitting as a ruling establishment. We still have the popular mandate of the people. If we never had the
Your
popular mandate,
popularity hasn't dwindled.
no, not at all, Mr. Andrews. As you saw on September, you saw the first one on February 4th, and you understand the appreciation day of the president. Well, we better tell the president thank you. You saw the number we had out on that day. People willingly came and participated into the process. And September 7th also, you saw it. The CEC has been the only political institution that has continuously showed that strength, of having the popular support of the Liberian people. And on September 7th, if you take a retrospective look at the crowd and give your own empirical analysis, you will see that the crowd the United Party put out yesterday is just about maybe 50 or 60% of the crowd the CDC put out. Because I, for one, during the morning
But
hour, I drove.
your percentage by your description or observation is higher than what you saw yesterday.
What I'm
That is
saying here,
below yours.
yes, it's below. That means they came 57% closer to the 100% we had outside on the 7th of September. The number we had outside double the number they had. That's what I'm trying to make clear to you. Because our number that we had outside, we have major streets filled with the exception of the ATS that we want to occupy that on that day for our program. If you look, you will notice that even the entire lane street was filled. If you go down to the GS side to the South Beach, all the way climbing up, you went drive there, it was occupied. Coming down on the other side of the ATS, that other area also was occupied. You have people Broad Street, you have people at our party headquarters on that day, and you have people in marketplaces, people at home.
It
And you
was the
understand?
same yesterday, wasn't it?
No, the situation was never the same. You have everybody converging at the ATS, and even I noticed that the main playing page of the ATS was not occupied. The only thing they had on the main playing page was the stage.
But
You understand?
the field was overcrowded.
The
Did you
main
go there? Did you go there to see, or you rely on a segment of social media?
rather in the morning hour, I was around there, but later on during the afternoon hour, I had to leave because of my own security. I had to
So
leave.
what you saw when you were there in the morning hours is what you are talking about, and not the evening hours.
Yeah, what I was there during the morning hour, what I saw, what I saw vis-a-vis is what I'm speaking of.
Did you
But
fill
after
the
I left,
stadium? Did you fill the stadium in the morning, from the morning to the afternoon hours on September 7th?
for our program, by about 8:30, the stadium was already filled. The stadium was already filled because we got there and we had to go back and come back. We were just back
You
and forth.
sure? You sure from 7 upward the stadium was already
From
filled?
7:30, the stadium was
But
filled.
it wasn't.
The
It
stadium was filled from
it it
7:30.
it wasn't. My boss and I were there. We were on the field, and there was space all over the place, even up to the time the president arrived, or before he arrived, because he got into the stadium 10 minutes after 4 o'clock. There was space all over the place, but you
Mr.
crowded
Andrews,
the playing pitch itself.
Mr. Andrews, I can tell you that all the major streets, surrounding street around the ATS were all filled. I don't know which part of the stadium you were or which part of the outside of the stadium you were, but I can tell you quite frankly that all over were filled that day with people, human beings from all over. You could see citizens all over. I can tell you that we had 1 million plus people outside on that day,
So
and there was nothing like we saw yesterday. People being trucked. All of our activities, we walk. Then you understand, we walk and converge at the ATS from various points. Every one of us walk on that day.
what part of the page? What part of the page from your observation was not filled? Wasn't touched by UPace?
I said the main playing page, from what I noticed, the main playing page was not occupied. But
That was the
around the
morning.
field,
That
yeah,
was the morning hour.
yeah, around the
But
field was occupied.
from 3:30, 4 o'clock, it was overpacked.
Yes, that's the time it got overpacked. Because why? Because of the
So you
trucking.
acknowledge that it was truly
It
overpacked.
was packed because of the trucking. It got packed because of the trucking.
You acknowledge and confirming that they made a statement of purpose. The field was overpacked.
I'm not saying the fee was overpacked. I said the fee was packed. The fee itself was packed by 3, 4 o'clock. Because what we
And that
noticed
is a
was that
statement of intent.
we noticed that trucking, because if you're trucking people from Margibi, you're trucking people from Grand Bassa, it has to take time now from the morning hour up to 3 o'clock.
Did you not
And
truck people
because
in? Did you not truck people in on September 7th?
we were even appealing to people to stay at home on that particular day because we noticed that the few were overcrowded and people were fainting. Can you imagine on the rain, people fainting? So just imagine
How
that.
did ATS people faint on September 7th?
September
Fainted?
7th, there we have few cases of
But we
that.
didn't see anybody.
We have
We
few
didn't see
cases.
anything like
Apparently,
that.
you were not all over your gadget. Those that were controlling your gadget, apparently they were not.
Were you on the
Being
field
off the
September
field.
7th?
I was there. I entered the field and I had to leave from the
But
field
there
because
was
I couldn't
nothing
stand the crowd.
reported. There was nothing reported
I
like
couldn't
that.
stand the crowd. And you understand? I couldn't stand the crowd, so I had to leave the field. So
When did you
what we
leave the
what we
field?
what
When did you leave the field on
I did not
September
leave the
7th?
field completely. I left the program at about 8:30 to 9 o'clock because we were all on the Lane Street there.
AM.
Yeah,
And at that
8
time, the
p.m.
field
I'm
was
talking about PM now.
PM.
Yeah,
But
it
everybody,
was when we left the field at the time. 8 o'clock.
left by then.
Yeah, but
So how can the field still be back? How can
I'm
it,
saying that was the time some of us left the program because the program ended and people started leaving. I'm saying that because of the
so
crowd, some
people
of us had to leave
fainted?
it.
Are you saying that people fainted on September 7th in
People
the
went
stadium?
off. People went off, and they had
Can
to
you
be water.
can you give a
They-
rough number, a rough estimation?
People, I saw about 3 to 4 persons that I saw them rushing. Actually, I saw them rushing them
You sure of
out.
what you're saying?
I said
Because
3 to 4 persons that people were they held them and they rushed them to the ambulance, to have them away because our program was being followed by an ambulance for
you
the safety
are
of
you
our
sure?
people.
Are you sure, Mr. Cannon? Are you sure of what you're saying? Because I was there. I was there. The ambulance was parked. The back of the ambulance, if anybody knows ATS, was
But
facing.
Mr. Andrew, you're
Wait
not
now.
God, you're
Wait.
not
Wait.
omnipresent
Wait
to
now.
say you will be all over at the
Mr.
same time.
Cannon.
Yeah,
Mr. Cannon,
yeah,
you want to listen?
I'm listening.
The ambulance was packed alongside LBS OB crew van. So the back of the van, the back of the ambulance was facing Redcross. There where it was. And since the pack there, that vehicle did not move until it ended. So how did it carry people outside who fainted?
Mr. Andrews, I'm saying that the ambulance, which I saw 3 to 4 persons that were carried to the ambulance, and they were stabilized. And I think from there they came back to the program. because it was not something that was so severe to an extent that the
But
medical people that could not stabilize.
how can
They
either
stabilized them
faint
and
not
were
be severe?
well,
If
some
people
of
have
them,
fainted and
yeah, they
they
stabilized them.
didn't come back.
No,
So you
they
can't
fainted.
say
I'm
it is
saying in a
serious.
situation that I saw and I experienced, they were stabilized and they were able to come back to the program.
So when they were taken to the hospital for stabilization, so you were there when they were being taken away,
I
and you were
said no.
available. You were still
I
around when
was
they brought
concerned
them
though.
back.
I was concerned though, but I did not follow to the end. I was concerned,
But
but I have,
but
but I did not follow.
but there was
to the
nothing
end.
like that, Mr. Kane.
Mr. Andrew, what we try to say here
There
is
was
that
nothing like that. Let me give you another picture in that same situation. We were there. My boss and I were there. We saw it from the morning I was told to close. I told you when President Weah arrived. If you ask any of your seditions,
I was
the
there when the
protocol
president
people,
arrived.
they will tell you that the
was,
president arrived 4:30.
I was
4:30,
there.
and
Right to
it was
the market
drilling.
area there.
Wait
The
now,
opposition market
wait.
when he arrived, I was there.
Prior to that, the truck came. The truck was positioned at Lane Street Way on the other side, we call the Sonny Wen area, and they started to pull water. The weather was mild. That means sun was not tense, but apparently they suspected that the sun could have risen at any time. So they pulled water around, and everybody went on that side enjoying like children bathing under the water. And then less than 2-3 minutes, it was over. They never pulled any water again. So how is it that you would say that people fainted and they put them in the ambulance and care? Do you know that you are damaging your party?
I mean, I'm speaking the reality of a situation I saw. It's not about damaging party. You know, whenever
But you are giving information. You are giving
whenever,
information that
no,
that,
listen,
that didn't
Mr. Andrew,
exist.
Mr. Andrew, whenever people assemble in a very huge number, you should expect that. Whenever people assemble, it does not mean that you're damaging something or you're trying to give a bad image of your party. Whenever a group of people gather somewhere, I'm gonna say I can stand crowd. To be very frank with you, this is why sometimes I worry and wonder about our leader because he walked through crowd. He doesn't sit in car and move with the people. No, he walked in crowd. He walked out of the ring with the crowd. So I sometimes wonder as to how ready does he contend with the kind of huge number of people? Because like for me, I was not even able to enter the ATS because the number. So I came in even on the Lane Street. I could not stay in the crowd. I went UN Drive again. I could not stand the crowd down to the BTC area. I could not stand the crowd.
So you
I had to
agree?
walk all the way up Lane Street. There where at least I was a little bit comfortable because the huge
So you agree? You
from the
agree
huge
that
number of people, and I could not really stand the crowd.
you agree that Unity
So
Party. You
yeah.
agree that Unity Party quadruple your crowd on September 7th.
That is far-fetched. It's far from the truth. And the only person that will be very deceptive to say that is an individual who maybe from the opposition camp or does not want to see good things happening for our country or does not want to face reality. But the reality of the matter here is that the crowd that came up, the number of Liberians that came up in Monserrado County on the 7th double what we saw yesterday that was being supported by people from Grand Bassa County, Magibi County, as well as Bomi County. Because we were there, we saw it, we saw the trucks coming.
You were in those three
from
counties?
beyond. We were there. We have people to
So nobody.
we
no,
have
you
people
didn't
we
trust.
have people at the joint of the various counties, and we were calling to find out as to whether this is really a Monserrado based crowd or these are people that came from neighbor close up counties. And
But
indeed, we're told that.
if they didn't, if they didn't come up with the number, if they made no statement of purpose, why you got jitter? Why you people are jitter and just reacting all over the place and editing by commentary?
This is a political process. We found ourselves in a national political theater, and believe you me, politically we have to analyze things as they unfold. So people cannot go blindfolded and then tomorrow create problem or degenerate our country into crisis that we least anticipate.
You
So
got scared from what you saw yesterday.
No. Let's be frank and realistic. We know that this particular party is a former ruling party. We expected we expected them to be far above, or we should be trading beyond them in terms of the mandate of the people, the popular support of the people. But instead, they are trading behind us. But you guys can see it. We have to come out, put our people out before they coming out to come put people. I think they should be ahead of us in almost everything that we are doing. But being far ahead of them, that indicate that they are crawling behind us. And I can assure you that this election, the president is going to get his first round victory, and the Liberian people are going to popularly support this president, because I can assure you that for the level of work this president has done for this country, from where he met this country, what he's inherited, and for what he has done, that clearly states that you will get a resounding re-election from the Liberian people. That I can assure you. We are cognizant of the fact. We are cognizant of the fact that there are challenges. there are huge challenges, because from where President
What are
Weah
those
inherited,
challenges?
from where Weah inherited this country to where we are currently, these are international, challenges. These are conventional problems that every country face in Africa and even the world. Because if you can listen to people in Nigeria complaining, you listen to people in Ghana complaining, you listen to people in South Africa complaining, and those are African states, with a very big and huge economy that even the people from Europe and part of the Western world depend on for survivability. If you can hear them crying, then what more about Liberia, that is an underdeveloped country, a developing country for that matter. So Liberia is of no exception. But people are trying to act that they are blindfolded and using the circumstances to to abuse the mind of our people, and making them to go against the government that is doing almost pretty, well for this country, to ensure that this country moves to another level. So these are challenges that the government is faced with, and and as we speak, we are gradually getting over them, because this government is putting into place the necessary instruments, the necessary activities and dynamics to ensure that our country gets back on footing, our country gets back to another level. Let's take for instance, my dear brother, before even the government will come to power, you notice that the private sector in this country was very much challenged. The private sector was under a very huge challenge, meaning that our private sector was not even providing job for our people before the government could come to power. Even with all the agreements, the sales concession agreement, all the investment past administration did, our people are still crying for jobs. So these are things that you must understand. And believe you me, Mr. Andrew, there are instruments, there are elements that have to be put into place before you can get a vibrant private sector. And what are some of the instruments, and what is the government doing towards them? Number one, you have to have good road network in your country. If you do not have good road network in your country, believe you me, no investor will get attracted to your country. If you do not have good electricity system in your country, Mr. Andrew, I can tell you that no investor will get attracted to your country, because these are elements, these are things that people will see. They say, yes, this country is prepared for development. Yes, we can go there and carry on our development. And believe you me, before President Weah could take over, he had in the urban area only 7% of electricity was supplied. Can you imagine that? 7% of electricity was supplied, but today we got up to 57%. Before President Weah could take over, you have 771 kilometers of road constructed in the country, but today, at least with what President Weah has added and continue to do, almost around 500 have been added to the 771 kilometers. So,
And
because we're trying to tell you things that
be-
can open the private sector.
besides those you are referencing, are you aware of what the Herculean task that you people have to deal with, that you've already created for yourself, like the harmonization, civil servants not taking pay on time, you got series of contests to fight over. You are aware of all of these things.
Where
They are
they,
a major factor.
if you say people not taking pay on time, now we want to ask you which ministry and which agency has not taken pay on time, because we are paid for August. This government has paid for August, and now the government is even paying for September. The payroll process has started, and the government is paying. And on the issue of harmonization, let me tell you something.
You know that's going to be a factor. It's going to affect you on October 10th.
But the government has paid for August, and the government is
The
processing for September.
harmonization,
Yeah. Oh, the issue of
it
harmonization.
will affect you on October 10th, will it not?
the issue of harmonization, I think, is something
That
that
is a major factor going
it,
into the election that you have to look at.
it is not a major factor, but people seeing it as a major factor and they're using it against us. But it was the best decision ever the government took to save our nation state. If the government wouldn't have done that, then by this time the government is not in existence, because why this was even a recommendation from the IMF that there should be a harmonization. Because if you wouldn't have harmonized, what would the government have generated all the resources from to keep paying salary? Because Sam, let me tell you this. 12 years ago, you know that we have the presence of the international community here because of our civil crisis, and they came to have end our civil crisis and ensure that our people are resettled and their damaged structures and other infrastructure of our country, and also to ensure people life one will put on path so that they could start up on their own. So 12 years they were here. We are cognizant of that.
Okay.
And their presence here gave a lot of help and contribution to the existing establishment at the time. And what we expected was, Mr. Andrew, just give me a chance now. Let me just lay a premise, then you can go into doing your question. So their presence here, and you understand, contributed a lot, because according to research, they were providing almost 800,000 annually into our country economy, which was helping to suppress the hard currency. You know, in our country, Mr. Andrew, the hard currency, which is the United States, that occupy 74% of our economic spending. Then you have 26%, which is our local currency, our national currency. So you will get to understand that 800,000 even was helping our economy at the time. It was creating some softness of the economy that were not giving the region at the time difficulties like what we experiencing
So
today.
you don't have any factors, none of those things going to work against you on October 10th or going into October 10th.
The best thing we have to do here is that to get the information to our people and make them to understand some of these things, because in my community I live, there are a lot of disenchanted people, but because I started moving from one intellectual center, discussing with people and making them to understand some of these variables and what this government is doing to ensure that they will have a vibrant private sector. Because if you do not have a vibrant private sector, there will continue to be tension in this country. There will continue to be tension on government, and our governance structure, they understand, will continue to be under the kind of stress. So what we try to say here is that in the past, the reason why you are not experiencing the thing here, because Omeo has a blanket that was covering the government, and as a consequence of that, things that the government supposed to have done to put our country on another paradigm shift so as to maintain and stable the economy for the next or succeeding government at the time, they did not do that. I think Madam Selisa confessed to
Who
that.
got the burden of proof in these elections so going into October 10th? CDC, Unity Party.
Who has the burden
of proof?
The best thing to do here is like what we are doing now, use the media.
So you acknowledge that you have the burden of proof. The responsibility lies with you.
Sure, we have to move out there and inform our people.
And any mistake from you, Unity Party wins it.
Unity Party cannot win this election because it's not possible. You cannot have a political party that took state power for 12 years and refuse to even diversify our country economy.
You got vote to protect the Unity Party.
To diversify our country economy, like I said, when the Army was here, it gave the government at the time the opportunity to diversify our economy. But if you do your research, if you look at the 2013-2014 report of the central bank, you get to understand that in 2013-2014, 94% of our national budget were going to recurring costs. 94%. And we have 6% going to public sector development. This is why our country is far from development. Underdevelopment is far away from us. Because why you had 94% of the country money going to recurring costs, people paying themselves, enriching themselves. And the reason why we were not feeding that at the time, it is because of the presence of oil. And what we expected to have been done at the time was to diversify the economy. And this is what this government is trying to do.
So you've done well.
Diversify the economy. That is what the government is concentrating on the agriculture sector, the fisheries sector, and that of the forestry sector. This is what the government is trying to move to, and also looking at tourism. This is why before those things can be done, you have to have good road network. Number one, you have to have good tax regime that the government has started doing. You have to have expansion of electricity. Because
What's the
I will
good
feel
road
good to
network?
invest in Ivory Coast.
What's the good road network when in urban Liberia you have bad roads all over the place? Though you have bad road mixing.
But we are working on it gradually. You can tell me, say, 170-year problem, somebody will solve all just in 6 years. I don't know you be a superhuman now. Yeah? Look, we gotta be fair to our president.
That's the excuse that governments give.
No, it is not about excuse, but if you look in Maserati now, you go rehab, you will see some of the president's signature roads that have been constructed there. You go right here, do community, you go looking town. I'm just trying to tell you around Maserati County now.
What's about
you
rural
get
Liberia?
Kukofan, Jangaba Road, you get
good
ERWA,
roads. You got good
Junction to
roads.
Coca-Cola Factory. Those are things.
You got good roads out of Liberia, out of urban Liberia. The roads are good.
The pavement are going on because if you look at the road now from Salaye to all the way to many command that the road are moving to Lofa County, there all the road have been worked on. Look at it, the stretch, the ERWA stretch. If you go there, you see those things, you know that things are happening. But believe you me, Mr. Andrews, before you can get investors attracted to the country, government, because after 2029 there will be another government after government. If we cannot do this, you will not get investors attracted to your country. So would the investor now will come and say they want to invest in your country, but then they have to buy generator, they have to be putting fuel in generator every time, and they got to employ people to be paying them. Then what would they generate? What would they generate? What would be their turnover on their investment? So the may prefer going to Ivory Coast or go to another nearby country that has the elements, that can empower them to do their investment, that they will not be challenged. So these are things that we are saying. So in order to have our country have a vibrant, private sector, these things need to be done. Because if you don't do them, believe you me, nobody will feel secure to come and invest in your country. This is what people have been talking about investment 12 years ago.
People not coming.
Investment 20 years ago.
Are people coming? Are investors coming in?
Yeah, there are few investors that are in country right now.
Few?
There are few because I look at it.
6 years you got only few in.
Listen, we got I can give you more than 10 to 11 investment companies that are here and providing job for our people. Jobs summing up to something around maybe 1,400 and 1,500 in the private sector. This is what we are trying to tell you. So these are things that are happening because
talk about those investors. Name them. You say you can name more.
Yeah.
Name at most 4.
We have the Nima Rubber in Nima County. The Nima Rubber has an investment portfolio of 1.8 million. And they are providing job for like 300 persons as per our research. You have the Golden Safeguard. The Golden Safeguard has an investment portfolio of 34 million, and they're providing job for like 110 persons. You got Mano Palm in Grand Cape County. Mano Palm has an investment portfolio of 14 million, and they're providing job for like 1,000 persons in Grand Cape County. You got Hammerbird also. They have an investment portfolio of 100 million and they're providing job for 200 persons. You get Bachico. These are people that are providing job for about 500 Liberians in Maserati County. Yeah. And they have an investment portfolio of 500 million. So they are more, but we are doing our research on them to get them. So these are things that this government is doing, and we are gradually getting there. But these are things that our people not understanding, and they just feel to themselves that these things like Rome was built in one day time. No, that's not the case. Rome was not built in one day time. Every means of success does not come easy. Everything that becomes very much successful, it can't harm. It can't harm in the sense that this government now is using like 60%, and you understand, for recurring costs and using 40% for public sector development. So these are challenges that this government is going through, but rather the government is working on them, ensuring that these things happen and make our country peaceful. If you look at the education sector, which is another component of investment, because when our people, when the investment come as open now for the private sector, and Mr. Andrews, our people need to be educated. Our people need to be educated. This is why the president has to encourage students, most especially for public school, from kindergarten up is free. Then you come to the college level, the president desire to make that one also free, so that people can have this taste, interest in education, so that they can go and acquire
That is
education.
that
The man
that
made the issue of work attractive so that students can be encouraged to go to school. Normally sometimes I use the motorcyclists and sometimes I interview them. So there was one point in time I interviewed one motorcyclist. I said, "What are you going to school?" He said, "Oh, baby, President, we are doing well for all. Because you know what me do for her? That college are free there. That's all. When I ride my motor for, and you understand when I go ride my motor bus now, 2 o'clock I pack my back, I go to school. After school, I get on my back, I go run. And you understand? The other one say, in the morning, I can go to school. When I come to school, I go run my back. In the night, I study. I said, but don't forget to study. Oh, he can say yes. So these are things that happen. One time again, I was going home, one other girl, you will find out that our voting population, hmm, the voting population will be the youth. Because these are people
and that is why
that
you
are getting
concentrate
direct
most.
benefit.
That is why you
Because
concentrate most part of your campaign on first-time voters
first time voters, because that is our base. These are people that are directly benefiting from the government.
that
You find out
they
that
can augment
you
your number and give you the victory
the
on
one
October
one
10th.
victory. That is show. Our major base is the first time voters in college, those who just in their first year in college, and most of the people you get to understand who are self-supported. Believe you me, they are die hard. They are die hard, and this is where our victory will come from. This is why people don't know. Most of the people you saw out there are elderly people, and those are people, like you said, in harmonization, they are disenchanted because you cannot have a government that come into power and then the resources you're not generating, then you paying all in salary. Because
Back to the numbers.
yeah, you can have a resources that you're not generating, then people expect you to send all the recurrent costs that you cannot do one development for your people. So these are things that the government is trying to avoid. So the issue of harmonization, actually, it was intended because in previous government, people were making 25,000,
All right,
30,000,
that is
people were
understood,
making
sir.
20,000, 15,000, 10,000. I mean, yeah,
What
believe you me, was it realistic for the government to continue with those kind of salary?
what is your rival, or who is your rival in these elections or going into the elections?
Our rival. Well, if you look at the political landscape, you will get to understand that the MDR combined with I don't know, other 9 or 10 political party and the Unity Party, I think they are the one who be a little bit challenging to the CDC, but they are going nowhere. I can assure you. Our only concern here is that uh, when the election results have come out, people should accept it because, like I told you, we have a base, and that
What
base
are the
that
counties?
base constitutes almost 60 to 65% of the voters,
What are the
and
counties
what we tapping into our
going
interest there.
into these elections with 22 days to go? By now, you should have a preview of where or what are the counties you are sure of winning. You want to talk about or pinpoint some of those counties
Yeah, I can pinpoint some of the counties. You mean for us to count
that
for
you
it?
will win,
Mm-hmm,
that you will win,
mm-hmm,
be it small or vote rich?
mm-hmm.
What are the counties you are sure of that you will win it?
Yeah,
That will give you the number for 20
for
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 October
us,
10th.
we don't believe in retrogression. In
You can win
2017,
Maserado.
in 2017, in 2017,
Can you
we
win
we we
Maserado?
we won 14 counties. Where
2017 is different from 2023.
2017
Life isn't fixed.
we were not a governing party. 2017 were we a governing party? We were not.
So now you are the governing
We are the
party.
governing
You
party.
have the
We
numbers.
got a
You got
number in almost all the
you got all the
counties
counties under your
because
control.
our
So
our
can you win
our develop
Maserado?
our developmental barometer has touched almost all of the countries,
Can
all
you
the counties.
Will you win Maserado?
I can show you. We will win Montreal.
You'll win Lofa.
We will win Louvain because of
You
what
will
we
win
have done
Bong.
there. Because this election will be
You will win
will,
Nimba.
will be development
Will you
versus
win Nimba?
empty promise.
Will
We
you
will,
win
we will
Nimba?
win Nima. I can show you because of our developmental activities there. We will win Nima. I can show you.
What will be the margin between you and Unity
I
Party?
don't want to predict the margin, but I can show you that we will win Nima. I can show you that we will win Nima. Maybe if we come here about
What will
45 to
happen?
46
What will
percent,
happen to you?
they will be around 25. 25% to 26%, around there, the margin around 30%.
Your rival, Unity Party, says that you will steal the elections. You don't have the number to win. You will steal the election. You will rig it. Listen, this is your rival, Joe Barker. This is what he said. First and foremost, let me make it abundantly clear and assure you that any plans or attempts to thwart the will of the Liberian people by stealing these elections will be forcefully resisted by us, the people of Liberia, the people of Liberia, and others. Okay, yeah, that's the main line there. He said you will steal the election.
That's a recitation. He said it in local country. In the end of the day, we won. We didn't steal election.
Were you not?
Apparently, they say one who thinks evil is one who involved into evil. This is what they have been doing in the past. That's what they did in 2005 and 2011 elections. So that's why he's anticipating that before a governing party win election, you have to steal the election. He made similar statement when the election was held in Lofa County. He made similar statement when the election was held in Lofa County. He made similar statement. He made similar threat to our electoral process. These are mature people and we respect them.
He should not be making such
a statement that can honor me and honor our democracy.
Even if he senses the signs, he shouldn't.
Where was he doing the 2019 and 2020 elections? Because I guess he was part of the collaborating political party, and it was under his administration that the party disintegrated, the collaboration disintegrated. I guess he was there at the time, right? 2020, all the elections that we lost, including Monserrado County, which is the heartbeat of our party, did we steal the election result, or did we steal election? Those are just mere propaganda, intended to sway the sympathy of the people towards him. If you have the popular mandate and support of the people, when you steal the June 7 protest, you sort of degenerated the country into chaos. When they came out with their 16 billion protests here, they supposed to have degenerated the country into chaos because they had the popular mandate of the people. Anyone who has the popular mandate of the people can hold the country hostage anytime. I'm saying this to say that if you have the popular mandate of the people, President, we will not be in power. So he does not have popular mandate to be making this kind of threatening statement to our democracy. I think the international community have warned our national leaders on this. The formidable agreement I was signed, the formidable agreement far on some of these things. Like, you don't come out to threaten our democracy. When the CDC came out, I want to you say, and you will do X, Y, and Z with election. You were in charge of governance in 2017. You were in charge of the National Election Commission. You were in charge of local authority. Did we come out to say you see election this with degenerated country in the chaos? In 2005, did we degenerate the country in the chaos? Even it was visible that the CDC was cheated. Did we degenerate the country in the chaos? In 2011, similar thing happened. But we need to be very careful and mindful. This is why in the Bible, I always like to refer the story of King Solomon and the two ladies. One was claiming a baby, and the other one said that the baby, and the actual mother was there, and the other lady was claiming a baby. So when King Solomon decided that, send the both of you people claiming a baby, and I can really, for inference, I can tell who is the actual owner. I will divide the baby into two. The one who does not own the baby say, kill the baby. Divide it. The one who own the baby said, no, don't kill the baby. Kill the baby. Or since she's claiming the baby to be your baby, and that man better won't fed the pain. So I says this to say that President William will never threaten the democracy. This is what making and
such a statement
exceptional leader of this country. So this kind of statement
should not be coming from,
with the kind of statement
your
we see
rival.
globally. What have you done? You're making it kind of claim. You've been in government 60 years. You got nothing to show. No achievement. Now, you coming making it kind of clean.
You're listening to Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1 Morovia. Voice of Liberia 89.7 Takatama, Gibi County. Voice of Liberia online radio www.voiceofliberiaradio.com. Facebook www.voiceofliberiaonline.com. My name is Sam Andrews with the show this afternoon. So you want to turn your questions now, whatever you have for Sylvester A. Cannon, Secretary General, Maserati County Coalition for Democratic Change, provoked by what they saw yesterday and think that it is nothing, they are not moved. So you can call on 0770 and Mr. Cannon will answer your questions. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Cole calling from Broadway.
Yeah, let's hear you, Mr. Cole.
Yeah, you see, what I want to say, your student guest is making so many errors. So many errors. Hello?
What are the errors? What are some of the errors he's making or he
He
made?
talked about hijacking election. When Terry Yu won the election, down in District 15, she was attacked and she was almost killed. You all can testify to that. He talked about barroom medicine. Look at Lupita now, this one. Look at Lupita. Look at College Junction there. Look at the places. These are the guys that are the full president. They try to deceive you. They don't say the facts. He said all these three things. 2005, 2003 election, after they announced the result, President Weah came out at that time saying he didn't accept it. And the whole set flare, they kept children at the capital airport. He didn't say it. I don't think he was even around.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, who are going to say?
Yeah.
And let me say who are going to be a student guest. My name is Abby Dada and I come from the US Drive. Therefore, let me appreciate both of you in student. Also, let me appreciate Almighty God for pumping breath in the earth, our voice to be heard. But I think for what happened yesterday is a clear manifestation to tell you that every Sunday is a day that people are looking for place win, fellowship, and merry make. Yesterday, I had so many people that say they are voting for Prince Stage and not voting for Moses Akara's group. They are part of that grouping, but they're voting for President William. They are part of that grouping. We are saying that group yesterday is now a group to make sure to be defense. That group was coming from them backward country, from my giving country. Therefore, my fellow talking here, I'm part of that group and I'm not voting for other people.
All right, Avi.
Everything happening yesterday, they just something for a couple of one show on screen.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You are on the air, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Roland Kavakomana, the only member of a job, man, we are re-election.
Let's hear you, Mr. Talker.
Yeah, look, my brother, let me tell you one thing. What people that say you need the party people, so reckless. I saw the friends, my brother, that came from Batala yesterday. They got two trucks. The king some of them slept with me last night, they just left this morning. The king said, Mama, we just need to get out from the people. We're not part of them.
So why didn't you expose them? If you knew they came from out of time, so disguising themselves as UP partisans, why didn't you expose them?
I'm not the partisan. I'm a citizen.
That's why I said, why did you not they disguise themselves to go there as UP partisans, and you know that as a citizen? Why didn't you expose them?
I told them, I said, John, man, you know, your sister, my man, we're telling you, we're checking to get our own from the people. And second to that, again, you know, the statement I made by the former papa and Joseph Parker is very wrong. He claimed himself to be a rescue or person, so which means he's coming to come and appear in the country. He talking about, he said, you know, when this is election, it will be like this. We are international people that will
Okay, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You getting me, Amanda?
You are on the air. You are on Voice of Liberia 104.1.
Thank you for having me. My name is Emmanuel Poli, and I join you on District 15. Hello.
Let's hear you, Mr. Colley. Speak.
Let's hear look. Why was brother on the up there Luther or Lalady? When they got well and rap, they can go confused. Nobody jumped anybody for anybody yesterday. That's a lie. That's why give up one kind of go to SUing. It's a blatant lie. They don't have argument. They put lazy. Authority will get rid of that gender.
Okay.
Will get rid of food seller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Augustine from Kakata.
How is Kakata, Magibi County, Augustine?
Kakata is great.
Let's hear you.
Let me just say thank you to the guests. But yesterday, I think in the party had I think about 10%, and rest only people there. So we are not to chair by any party, that they say, oh, crowd lockdown. Screw a lockdown. We don't have fun with it. But from now to October 10th, I think we will tell. Why getting a friend saying I will die election. So you trying to tell that the die election 2005, the die election 2011.
Okay,
So
sir.
I'm trying to.
Thank you. Have a nice day in Kakata. Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is my generation. I'm coming from 2013. And then let me appreciate your studio guest.
Did you say your name? Can you state your name again, sir?
Mark Dennis.
Mark Dennis.
Yes. And the statement made by Ambassador Parker is a scare tactic. That we know it is just meant to put fear in Liberian people to go his way. But that protocol kind of will not work because we inform our people. There is no way you can threaten, and the CDC, the president has no history, the government itself has no history about breaking elections. So I don't know how Ambassador Parker mainly has very time move and it's just unfortunate, but in sense of defeat, and elections are one part of elections, so Ambassador Parker knows that fully well.
Okay, sir.
And he's defeated, so
thank you so much for calling. Yeah, you want to lower your radio or move away from it?
Yeah, my name is Victoria Potter, calling from District 15.
Victoria?
Yeah, Victoria Potter, calling from District 15.
Let's hear you, Victoria. Yeah, speak.
Yeah, I want to play a studio guest. That man, they're sleeping. They are sleeping. They will be sleeping until we take over that period. What a problem. We didn't complete that class. They had a mass response. We didn't check that. Why they calling us? Saying our class was sick. So
your crowd wasn't fake.
Yeah.
Those were partisans of Unity Party.
I'm a European. Okay, we went out there. They didn't compare that they were ours. Our day was a rainy day. And we went out there to prove our love to the incoming president. So they didn't compare that day to ours.
Okay. All right, Victoria. Thank you so much for calling. Have a nice day. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes. You are on the air. Speak. Good afternoon.
Hello, you?
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is my
Yeah. Good to hear your voice. It's been a while. Hope to see you.
Yeah, I feel long time from hearing your voice on Capital FM. I never knew you were on this side. But thank God I hear your voice again. Let God bless everyone of us.
Amen. Let's hear you.
And let me say thanks to your video guest. This is my sister for the people. I'm calling from Flower Town in my accident. I want to say
that how you call your house name, Masisi? Your house at number 80?
My name.
So your house now, your house you living in, that 80?
I'm calling for the 18 for my resident. The Flower Town 18 Street. You getting me?
Yeah, Masisi. You will listen to you talk.
Okay. Let me say this to my brother in studio. People say S1 people, me, I don't have time for that. But when I say to Joe Butler statement, our old man, say Andrew, they want to be peaceful. We will go to the election, somebody should threaten the peace. That if I not win, I expect Joe Butler to be telling people that just stop they start threatening the peace of this country. But you see, Joe telling people that if the election not go anyway, this and that, there will be no left. That was a bad statement that he used.
The man said there will be no left, bro. The man said the people will steal the elections. It will be against the will of the Liberian people.
The election not go anything of them when they cheat, there will be no Liberia. Play the same you feel you listen to it. What is
Uh,
that?
no, but
He
why
said there will be
I
no
his statement
Liberia.
right in front of me of ICC. Okay, thank you
Uh-huh.
so much.
So what I want to say, people that can go for fire report and watch this shit, you know for them that getting me? And you say, but you pay for shit. When you know the internet for that is wrong. I
Okay.
think only people that know myself, they do myself, they want to say, oh, I eat a food, I do they want, I want back for just we are. They need to stop that, not correct. You know the internet for that.
All right,
So,
my CC.
for them, you. So,
Thank,
when I see no more.
thank you so much. Have a nice day. All right. Thank you for spicing up the show with your calls. Before Mr. Cannon responds to your, yes, this is the paragraph in Parker's statement released by his spokesman, Mo Ali. He said, first and foremost, let me make it abundantly clear and assure you that any plans or attempts to thwart the will of the Liberian people by stealing these elections will be forcefully resisted by us, the people of Liberia, and the international community, which has invested so much in the peace and stability of this country. And as I said before, we will also have no or leave no stone unturned to work with international prosecutors to expose and arrest those who will foster electoral violence and derail our hard-won peace. Mr. Cannon, you can respond.
Well, thank you very much. Let me say thank you to all of our callers that participated on the show. And the fellow that raised the issue of third year UA, I think the democratic process will help. And in the end of the day, the people of the 15, they spoke resoundingly at them. And more besides the issue of road connectivity, like we said, one of these communication, construction of roads, and those that are in process. I think as per the Ministry of Public Work, we pull, we're going about like 535 kilometers of roads, and 384 has already been completed. So these are roads that have been constructed because we said in our expose that indeed before you have investors expected to your country to invest into your country economy, you number one thing and priority is road. When somebody spoke of Kush, it's like when somebody has overstayed a particular thing and outlived their usefulness, and then they got nothing to offer, they won't have beyond one small little thing. And person also, people keep saying Kush, Kush, Kush. I think Kush is a narcotic drug, right? And I think there's a in America, there are areas dealing with people, taking similar drugs and then behaving as zombies. Similar thing happening in our country, which of course some of us strongly condemn. But to say now that it was President Weah that just been started in Liberia, or President Weah is the first president of the Republic of Liberia, is something that actually beats my imagination. Because our year, even in 2013, 2011, 2012, in 2005, 2006, uh, the issue of drugs addiction came on the rise. Where we saw people all in Central Street in the graveyard, all major graveyard in Liberia, yeah, you go Broadway Cemetery, other cemetery, our people were living in the graveyard. People coming out, hiding, they just walking. And were people that were in power at the time. They did not say a word. They did not do anything about it. But now they're coming to abuse our people mind because they want power and telling people that they are the giant, they coming for push. And let me be very fair and commend President Weah again for standing firm and standing tall to ensure that there is now a drugs law, a rigid drugs law that make even when you are caught with drug now, you go to prison, nobody can go, no lawyer can go stand and bail you. But years back, if you are caught with drug, and then you are placed in the prison, one lawyer can just go and, oh, I got my client here. And you have my client. I stand for the man. When you're ready for the man, you call me, I'll bring you. I want you to happen. But for now, one person we are, that is not happening. So it just beats my imagination that people will be hiding behind the issue of Cruz and saying that President we are brought Cruz and X, Y, and Z. And we know that these are drugs that comes from Sierra Leone. And we know that the former VP has a relationship. He told us that he got all the education. He spent most of his life in Sierra Leone. So that clearly indicates that he was linked with the Kush business. This is why he and continue to emphasize it. Some Some of my colleagues or some friends of mine normally say that he normally speaks because of that coach clause, and for me, I actually disagree with it. So, in conclusion, we would like to say yes, that the best leader of this country is President Weah, and he has proven that for the past 6 years he has been in power. He's setting our country on a trajectory. I see we attract investors into our country because the issue of rules, good tax regime, having good law in place, having our people educated. Those are things that can make investment good in your country, and those are things that he actually doing. And what another thing that actually left out is issue of value addition. You know, in your country, when the value of your resources are dropping, what you do, you try to develop what we call value addition. And what is happening now in my given country with Jetty, and what is happening with Satish Brother producing our own iron now, and producing our own plastic and rubber items. These are things that we should commend the president for, because all of those things are creating jobs for our people. And as a consequence of that, the value addition now, since the price in 2013, since the price of rubber, iron ore, and timber and things dropped in the world market, which has crippled our economy, that led to where we are today, our suffering, and all
All
that we're
right,
going
Mr.
through,
Cannon.
now has led to what we call the value addiction. And let me just say this: people should not be carried about what happened yesterday, because it was not a Maserati based crash. We saw people coming from Grand Bassa,
Okay,
Maggie,
sir.
Bon Country, you name it. So
Thank you so
it's not
much.
a
We're
crowd for
out of
anybody to
time.
pull up and threaten our democracy and threaten our nation state, that making statement that will degenerate our country in the chaos. Thank
Yeah.
you for the opportunity.
He's Sylvester A. Cannon, Secretary General, Maserati County Coalition for Democratic Change, reacting to what came out yesterday. Then CDC has lost already, given that they pulled up the Mammon crowd and other issues. Thank you so much. We'll have you in again, Mr. Cannon, with
Thank
the
you.
passage of time as the events unfold.
Anything, my dear brother.
Thank you so much. Well, that's
I
how we
appreciate
go on Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia, 104.1 Morovia, Voice of Liberia, 89.7 Kapata Magidi County, our online radio, www.voiceofliberiaonlineradio.com, Facebook, www.voiceofliberiaonline.com. Thank you ever so much for all of you who spice up the show. And let me say a very big thank you to Daniel Salif, Secret for Short, who is coordinating things at Voice of Liberia 89.7 Pakata, Magibi County. Ibrahim Dente, my sound producer this afternoon here in Monrovia. My name is Sam Andrews, and this is how we go home to return fresh on tomorrow, if God permits.